Hello, today you will learn what is a tuple, what is the difference between tuple and a list, and when should you choose tuple over list. Okay, so what is a tuple? Tuple is also a container like a list, but you cannot change any element that has already been assigned to tuple. What does it mean? When you create a tuple, well, how to create a tuple? You need to think about a name of tuple, like say for example tuple, whatever, and then you assign to this, for example, 1, 4, 20, 44. And now we've just assigned 4 different values to tuple. And the difference between lists is, notice that we haven't used any brackets here. So we can create, in order to create a tuple, you do not use any bracket here at the start or at the end. And because we did it like that, we created tuple instead of list, and we won't be able to change any element that has been already assigned to tuple. So what does it mean? When we do something like that, we will get an error. Why? Because tuple object does not support item assignment, right? You cannot assign a new value. You cannot remove new values that has been already assigned, and so on, right? So this thing is totally not changeable. In programming world, they say that tuples are immutable, okay? That word means that you cannot change elements inside tuple. There is also a second way to declare a tuple. You use here round brackets, okay? Not the square brackets, but round brackets. So as you can see, we still cannot change the value of any element, but when we change it to square brackets, you'll notice that we have got now a list. And as you can see, we can do it easily. So you can do any operations that you could already do with lists that are not changing values. So you can, of course, for example, see what is inside a tuple, right? I am 100% sure that you are right now curious, why do you even use tuples when list can do more, right? Why even tuples are created, introduced into programming? List can do more, right? You can change, remove items. Why even care about creating something like a tuple instead of list? And that's a good question. You create a tuple because they are faster and they take less memory. Okay? Why tuple is faster and it takes less memory? Because when your computer looks at a declaration of tuple, so some values between the round brackets or between no brackets, your computer will allocate only 4 spaces in memory, and that's all. That's enough for him, because he is 100% sure that you will not change anything inside of it. Everything there is constant, and well, he doesn't need to think about, that you will be able to change it. That's the first thing. And the second thing, that you're not gonna add anything or remove anything. So he gonna create it faster, right? And it will take less memory, because when you are creating a list, right, like that, so your computer doesn't reserve only 4 spaces in memory. He probably reserves a bit more just in case, so it's gonna be a bit faster when you add new things, right? So it's gonna take a bit more space in your memory. It's also gonna be slower, but you have got more possibilities, right? You can not only access things, but you can also change them, remove them, and so on, right? So there is more possibilities because of having lists, but it's gonna be slower and take more memory. So whenever you can, you should use tuples instead of lists, right? You use lists only when you are sure that later the values that are inside list can be removed, added, changed, and so on. Otherwise, always use tuple, because this thing is gonna have fixed memory, right? The space of memory that will be taken, and it's gonna be faster because there is gonna be some behind scene optimization for tuples, because well, you don't need to do all these things like on list, right? Okay, that's only the lesson. Thank you very much.